Before you stretches a scene of haunting desolation. Not the shadow of the Great Pyramids, but a place equally steeped in ancient power, yet far less known. This is Tanis, the city of the sun, a name whispered in ancient texts, a place of sacred rituals and immense wealth. But look closer. Priceless statues bear the scars of unimaginable heat. Colossal pillars, once symbols of a mighty civilization, lie shattered as if crushed by the hand of a vengeful god. What happened here? Was this city known as Zoan in the Bible truly cursed? Did it fall victim to the shifting sands of the Nile or to the wrath of invaders? Or is the truth even more astonishing? Imagine a statue 100 feet tall, carved from solid granite, weighing more than 1,500 family cars. A feat that would challenge even modern engineers. Tanis holds secrets etched in scorched stone, secrets that speak of a fiery cataclysm. Was this the work of man, of nature, or of something more? Join us as we journey into the heart of an ancient enigma to uncover the lost story of Tanis, a city swallowed by time, waiting to reveal its truth.
A desolate landscape stretches before us, a mere 185 kilometers northeast of the iconic pyramids of Giza. Here lies Tanis, a city shrouded in mystery, once a place of immense power and sacred significance. The ancient Egyptians called it Janet, the city of the sun, a holy site dedicated to Amun-Ra, the god of the sun and creation. This is what met the eyes of the first explorers in 1878, a scene of utter devastation. The soil, barren and unforgiving, supports little life save for a few resilient thorny bushes. Priceless statues bear the scars of intense heat. Gigantic stone pillars lie smashed and broken, like forgotten toys of giants. Was this city cursed, struck down by the wrath of gods, or was it simply abandoned to the ravages of time? Let's rewind the clock. Tanis, known as Janet, Zoan in the Old Testament, and today as San el-Hagar, is a name whispered throughout history. Egyptologists generally agree it rose to prominence during the 21st dynasty, between 1069 and 945 BC, supplanting Thebes as Egypt's capital. But the narrative is far more complex. The discovery of massive Old Kingdom statues and artifacts within its ruins hints at a far more ancient origin, lost in the mists of time. Imagine a city dominated by an enormous temple complex dedicated to Amun-Ra, a royal palace. Bustling residential areas, all built with colossal granite pillars. These weren't just any stones. We're talking about 20 to 30-ton monoliths, painstakingly quarried, carved, and transported over 1,000 kilometers from Aswan in southern Egypt. Even with today's technology, this would be a monumental undertaking. Tanis was no vulnerable settlement. Fortifications, including massive walls and gates, were erected to defend against invaders. Picture walls, 70 feet thick, soaring 50 feet high, constructed from over 20 million mud bricks, each one potentially adorned with hieroglyphs and reliefs, a testament to the city's grandeur. Sadly, only fragments of these walls remain, eroded by millennia of wind and sand. Beyond its spiritual and political importance, Tanis has yielded some truly staggering megalithic artifacts. Our understanding of this city partially stems from Napoleon Bonaparte's 1798 expedition. He claimed 2 pink granite sphinxes, now housed in the Louvre, silent witnesses to Tanis's past. Countless other massive granite statues and artifacts have been unearthed, gracing museums worldwide, while others remain in Tanis, now an open-air museum. But perhaps the most mind-boggling discovery is a colossal foot, unearthed by the renowned Flinders Petrie in the late 1800s. Based on his meticulous scalings and comparisons to other colossi, Petrie estimated the original statue to have stood a staggering 100 feet tall. This is double the height of the colossi of Memnon. How did a civilization, using seemingly primitive tools, copper chisels and wooden rollers, carve, transport, and erect a statue weighing an estimated 1,500 tons. It's a feat comparable to building the Statue of Liberty. The mind reels at the sheer scale of this undertaking. In 1939, French Egyptologist Pierre Montet made a discovery that should have rivaled Howard Carter's find in the Valley of the Kings. He uncovered the royal tomb complex at Tanis, containing 3 intact burial chambers. The treasures within were breathtaking: golden masks, bracelets, tableware, necklaces, and ornate sarcophagi, all crafted with exquisite artistry. Had it not been for the outbreak of World War II, these treasures would undoubtedly be as famous as Tutankhamun's. Even today, Montet's discoveries at Tanis are relatively unknown, overshadowed by the more publicized finds. The exact cause of Tanis's decline remains a puzzle. The conventional narrative, favored by many Egyptologists, points to a shift in political power, with cities like Sais and eventually Alexandria rising to prominence. The changing course of the Nile is another factor. As the river shifted, it likely caused flooding and erosion, rendering the area less habitable. However, let's delve deeper. If the city was simply abandoned, wouldn't the inhabitants have taken their valuables? Why leave behind hoards of treasure? The photographs from the initial rediscovery of Tanis reveal a scene of almost biblical destruction. And perhaps there's a reason for that. Remember, Tanis is the biblical zone. In Ezekiel 30:14, the prophet foretells its doom. "I will lay waste to Upper Egypt, set fire to Zoan, and inflict punishment on Thebes." Could this be a clue? Egypt's fertile lands and strategic location have made it a battleground for millennia. Alexander the Great, the Sasanian Persians, and the Crusaders all marched through this region, leaving their mark. Could fierce battles have contributed to Tanis's destruction? Earthquakes too have plagued Egypt throughout history. While they could explain some of the damage, they don't account for the scorch marks found on many artifacts. Look closely at this statue. The right side of its face shows clear signs of intense heat. Granite requires temperatures exceeding 1,200 degrees Celsius to exhibit such damage. Was this divine retribution, a lightning strike, a meteor airburst, or the result of a more earthly weapon? One intriguing possibility is Greek fire, a devastating incendiary weapon used by the Eastern Roman Empire from around 672 AD. This terrifying concoction, likely a mixture of naphtha and quicklime, could ignite upon contact with water and was projected from flame-throwing devices. Could Greek fire have been used to raise Tanis? While primarily a naval weapon, it's conceivable that Greek fire, or a similar incendiary technology, could have been adapted for land-based warfare. The destruction at Tanis, particularly the scorched stone that requires temperatures exceeding 1,200 degrees Celsius to achieve, aligns with the potential destructive power of such a weapon. While the spectre of Greek fire is certainly captivating, there's another, perhaps more grounded explanation for the intense fire damage at Tanis. We must remember that Tanis was a major religious and administrative center for centuries. It's conceivable that large-scale industrial or ritualistic activities involving intense, sustained heat took place within the city. It's important to note that this explanation doesn't necessarily contradict the others. A natural disaster, a battle, or even an attack using incendiary weapons could have triggered the initial blaze, which then escalated due to the presence of industrial or ritualistic activities, or simply because of the abundance of flammable materials within the city. This scenario, while perhaps less dramatic than divine wrath or ancient superweapons, is firmly rooted in the realities of daily life in an ancient city. It reminds us that even seemingly mundane activities, when combined with unfortunate circumstances, can have a profound and lasting impact on the historical record. The fire marks at Tanis, therefore, could be a testament not to a single catastrophic event, but to the complex interplay of human activity and the ever-present threat of fire in a world before modern fire prevention and suppression techniques. So, the sands of Tanis hold their secrets still. Was this once great city ravaged by the wrath of gods, as the ancient texts suggest? The story of Tanis is a reminder that the past is never truly gone. It lingers, buried beneath the sands, waiting to be rediscovered, reinterpreted, and perhaps to teach us lessons that resonate even in our own time. At the most speculative end of the spectrum, we encounter theories that attribute the pyramid's appearance to events far beyond the realm of conventional understanding. These ideas, often fueled by digitally manipulated images and a thirst for the extraordinary, are frequently intertwined with broader scientific narratives about ancient Egypt. But first, let's learn a bit more about the Pyramid of Senusret II, located at El Lahun, also referred to as Ilahun or Kahun, in the Fayum oasis of Egypt, stands as a testament to the power and ingenuity of the Middle Kingdom 2055 to 1650 BC. While not as visually imposing as the famed pyramids of Giza, it holds significant historical and archaeological value, offering insights into the evolving architectural styles, religious practices, and socio-political dynamics of its time. To understand the significance of Senusret II's pyramid, we must first place it within the broader context of the Middle Kingdom. This period followed the First Intermediate Period, a time of political fragmentation and instability that marked the end of the Old Kingdom's centralized rule. The reunification of Egypt under the 11th dynasty, based in Thebes, ushered in the Middle Kingdom. Some propose that the pyramid's melted look is the result of an attack by advanced weaponry wielded either by extraterrestrial visitors or a lost, technologically superior human civilization. This theory often intertwines with the ancient astronaut hypothesis, a fringe belief that posits extraterrestrials played a direct role in the development of human civilization, particularly in the construction of megalithic structures like the pyramids. Proponents of this theory often point to other ancient sites around the world, such as the Nazca Lines in Peru or the statues of Easter Island, claiming they provide further evidence of advanced, non-human engineering. This perspective gained popularity in the mid-20th century, particularly with the publication of Erich von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods, 1968, which, despite being widely criticized by academics for its lack of rigor and misinterpretation of evidence, captured the public imagination. A related theory, often associated with the work of Christopher Dunn in the Giza Power Plant, 1998, posits that the pyramids were not tombs, but rather ancient power plants utilizing unknown forms of energy. In this scenario, Senusret II's pyramid suffered a catastrophic meltdown, resulting in the damage we see today. This idea often draws on perceived similarities between the pyramid's internal chambers and modern power generation facilities, selectively highlighting features while ignoring others. Proponents sometimes point to the precision of stonework in certain parts of the pyramids, suggesting it could only have been achieved with advanced machinery. Another extreme theory suggests that a massive, unprecedented solar flare, far more powerful than anything observed in modern times, scorched the Earth. This event, it is argued, could have caused widespread fires and even melted rock surfaces, selectively damaging the pyramid. While solar flares are a real phenomenon and powerful ones can disrupt modern technology, there is no scientific evidence to suggest that a flare of the magnitude required to melt stone has ever occurred in recorded history, let alone one that would selectively target a single pyramid. It's important to understand why these theories hold such appeal. They offer simple, exciting explanations for complex phenomena, tapping into a desire for mystery and a sense of wonder about the past. They also often present themselves as challenging, mainstream narratives, appealing to those who are skeptical of established authorities. Moving closer to the realm of possibility, we encounter theories that invoke natural, albeit catastrophic, events to explain the pyramid's appearance. While still speculative, these theories at least operate within the realm of known natural phenomena. A large impact event could theoretically cause significant damage to a structure. The Chicxulub impact, for example, is believed to have caused the extinction of the dinosaurs. However, any impact large enough to affect Senusret II's pyramid would have left unmistakable geological evidence, a substantial crater, an ejector field containing material from the impact, and potentially even evidence of tsunamis or widespread fires if the impact occurred near a body of water. The absence of any such geological markers in the vicinity of El Lahun or indeed anywhere in Egypt dating to the relevant period, casts serious doubt on this theory. While earthquakes and floods were known occurrences in ancient Egypt and are documented in texts like the Ipuwer Papyrus, dating to the late Middle Kingdom or Second Intermediate Period, which describes a period of social upheaval and possibly natural disasters, there's no evidence of a natural disaster of sufficient magnitude to selectively damage the pyramid's core while leaving its overall structure relatively intact. Furthermore, geological records in the region do not support the occurrence of such a catastrophic event during the relevant time period. The Nile's regular flooding, while crucial to Egyptian agriculture, was generally predictable and controlled through irrigation systems, not a source of catastrophic destruction to well-established structures. As we move further along the spectrum, we finally arrive at the explanations grounded in archaeological evidence and historical context. This is where the true story of Senusret II's pyramid begins to unfold, revealing a narrative deeply intertwined with the political and economic realities of the Middle Kingdom. Senusret II's reign, 1897 to 1878 BC, fell within the 12th dynasty, a period of renewed stability and prosperity following the political fragmentation of the First Intermediate Period. This era saw a resurgence of royal power, marked by ambitious building projects, the expansion of trade, and significant advancements in art and literature. The construction of pyramids, a tradition that had waned after the Old Kingdom, was revived, albeit with some modifications. Unlike the solid limestone pyramids of the Old Kingdom, such as those at Giza, Senusret II's pyramid employed a core of mud bricks. This was not a sign of technological decline, but rather a pragmatic adaptation to the available resources and economic realities of the time. Mud brick, a readily available material made from Nile earth and chopped straw, as described by 19th century Egyptologist John Shea Perring, was a cost-effective filler. This core was ingeniously built upon a natural limestone mound, further reinforced by a network of large limestone cross walls radiating outwards, providing structural integrity while minimizing the need for expensive quarried stone. This mud brick core was never intended to be visible. The entire pyramid was originally encased in fine Tura limestone, presenting a smooth, gleaming surface that would have rivaled the grandeur of its Old Kingdom predecessors. This casing served not only an aesthetic purpose, but also a symbolic one, projecting the image of a powerful and stable reign, a key concern for rulers of the Middle Kingdom seeking to reassert royal authority after a period of instability. In the 19th dynasty, some 600 years after Senusret II's reign, Ramesses the Great, a pharaoh known for his extensive building program and penchant for repurposing older monuments, as evidenced by his additions to the temples at Karnak and Luxor, stripped the pyramid of its valuable limestone casing. This act, meticulously documented by Flinders Petrie in his excavations at El Lahoun, was not an act of vandalism, but rather a practical decision driven by the need for readily available building materials for Ramesses' own ambitious projects. Over the next 3,000 years, the exposed mud bricks were subjected to the relentless forces of nature. Wind, rain, and the intense desert sun, combined with the occasional human interference, such as the removal of mud bricks for fertilizer by local farmers, a practice documented in the 19th and 20th centuries, gradually eroded the core, leading to the dark, weathered, and seemingly melted appearance we observe today.